So let me give you 10 reasons, specific reasons, why Joe Biden cannot and isn't even interested in uniting this country and bringing Americans together, as John Kasich purports. First one is the Second Amendment. Joe Biden will water down the Second Amendment. He can't do away with it. You need a 2/3 majority in the states to do that, and you're not going to be able to do it. So the Second Amendment can't knock it out. But he will do everything he can and what he's told to do, all right, to make it very difficult for Americans to defend themselves with firearms. He will not crack down on gun violent crime. Won't do that at all. Why? Because that's mostly minority driven. He won't do it. Second, unfettered abortion. So Mr. Biden makes a big deal out of his Roman Catholicism. Is Joe Biden going to limit abortion in any way? No, he's not. He will do nothing to moderate the abortion extremist policies. That going to bring people together? Pro-lifers going to go, yeah, that's Joe. I'm going to go get with him. All right, so you got the Second Amendment, you got abortion. Third, increase taxes for everybody. So Biden will tell, you poor people and working people, I'm not going to increase your taxes. That's just a lie. He has to, because he's dropping the Medicare age to 60. Who's going to pay for that? So all of the taxes on the entitlements are going to have to go up. Not just for the wealthy, for everybody. And the Green New Deal, the trillions and trillions of dollars spent there, when he knocks out the fossil fuel industry, all right, that's going to hurt everybody. So you're going to be paying way more to heat your house and cool your home. Okay, fourth thing, the destruction of the fossil fuel industry. You know how many people are going to lose jobs? All right, in Ohio, Kasich's home state, in Pennsylvania, because there's not going to be any fossil fuels allowed. It's 130 degrees in Death Valley, California. And in the central part of California, it's over 100 degrees every day. They can't supply the energy needed to air-condition homes in California because they knocked out all the fossil fuel. And the wind and the solar and the alternatives can't do it. All right? So expect that nationwide. And again, all energy costs for all working and poor people go up. Will go up. 5, single-payer health care. The Medicare drop to 60 is just a start. Government-funded health care. Biden's not going to oppose that. He may say, I still want insurance around, but they'll put so many regulations, a Biden administration, on the insurance industry, they'll all get out. And there won't be anybody left except the government. They'll strangle. That going to bring people together? You want to be told what doctor you can go to and what procedures you can have? You want to wait 6 months for them? You want to be like Canada? You need an operation, a hip replacement, a knee replacement in Canada. You got to come here. You can't get it for a year. Is that what you want? That going to bring people together? 6, cancel culture, Me Too. He going to stand up against that? No, he can't, because he's got other people accusing him. He can't mention it. He's not going to mess with those people. They're going to run wild. BLM, Black Lives Matter, Global Foundation, they're Marxists. Biden going to bring that up? Is he going to challenge them? No. All right, defund the police. Biden, I don't want to defund the police. I want to divert funds from them. It's a difference. All right, he's going to watch as the nation's law enforcement infrastructure is destroyed, as it has been in Seattle, Portland, Minneapolis, Chicago, New York. I can go on, Baltimore, Washington, D.C. Biden going to do anything about that? No. In fact, last night at the Democratic Convention wasn't one word about supporting the police. Not one, by anybody. Okay. 9, rejoin Iran nuke deal. Biden's there. Boom, go ahead. Do whatever you want over there, and here's some money. Believe me, he'll bring the money to the mullahs. Give more money. Already gave you $30 billion in cash. Isn't that $10 billion? And finally, the China détente. China wants Biden because Trump's, doing a hard deal on trade. Biden's not going to do that. Remember, his son made millions in China doing, I don't know what he did. Nobody knows what he did. Okay, so I got 10 things, and I can give you 40. Any of that going to bring Americans together? Any of it? No. After playing sports for decades, I have some pain. I'm an old guy, all right? So I talked with Dr. McQuillan from OmegaXL. She said, whether it's a painful back, knees, neck, shoulders, the underlying cause is likely inflammation. I believe that. Backed by 35 years of clinical research, OmegaXL attacks the inflammation that's causing my pain. The doctor said something else very interesting, quote, I can't write any prescription that comes close to OmegaXL. Order OmegaXL and get a second bottle free. Visit OmegaXL.com. That's easy. /no spin. OmegaXL.com /no spin or call 1-800-844-4888. You can assume that Trump supporters despise Kamala Harris. That's how you say her name. Kamala, like comma. All right? You can just assume they despise her, and vice versa. That anyone who would support the nomination of Senator Harris, anyone who would support that, who would like that, hates Trump and Pence. Because Senator Harris is the third most liberal senator on Capitol Hill, only behind Bernie Sanders, a self-admitted socialist, and Elizabeth Warren, who is a socialist but couches it, but she is. So Kamala Harris is third. And therefore, when Joe Biden picked her as VP, it became the most liberal ticket in the history of this country. There is nobody even close. So, if Americans want hardcore liberalism in charge of this country, then they will vote for the Biden-Harris ticket. As simple as that. Now, Donald Trump is not a doctrinaire conservative. He's all over the place. But he is primarily a man who is governing in a traditional way. So the status quo is okay with Donald Trump. He wants to get better deals, better economy, all of that, withdraw troops from abroad. But basically the status quo is what he's going to do. Not Biden and Harris. They're going to blow it all up if they get elected. So everything that you know today on August 12th will be changed this time next year if they win and the Democrats control the Senate and the House. Everything across the board. And that's what I'm going to tell you about. All right? So the most liberal ticket up to this point in the history of America was the McGovern-Shriver ticket in 1972, which was defeated by Nixon and Agnew. And then Agnew was a corrupt guy and got booted out, and Joe Ford took over, you know, the story. So let's get into Miss Harris. Interesting woman. Skin color, it doesn't matter. This is not a skin color play. All right? She identifies as black. She went to Howard University. Fine. Her father was a Jamaican. Her mother is an Indian American, two immigrants. Okay? She was born Kamala Harris, on October 20th, 1964 in Oakland, California. So that would put her 56 years old this coming October. She had a very affluent upbringing. Her parents were professionals. They were immigrants to this country. They did very well. Okay? She was deprived of nothing. She wasn't the little girl looking out the window being bussed into a tough school. That's what she wants you to think. That's really not what happened. Yes, she was caught up in the busing. That's true. But this wasn't some kind of a ghetto situation where she was being bused to better herself. No. She had two very professional and successful parents. Okay. So she gets, after she graduates from Howard, she goes back to California, and she gets involved in San Francisco politics. Now, back at that time, San Francisco wasn't what it is now. It was a functioning liberal city. Now it is a far-left collapsing city. The power in San Francisco was Willie Brown, all right, who was the mayor there. He and Miss Harris had an affair, okay? And he mentored Senator Harris, all right? He guided her through the California political system. And she was appointed to some commissions. She was the district attorney of San Francisco from 2004 to 2011. Then she was the California Attorney General from 2011 to 17. Then she was elected senator. It's a standard issue machine politician. All right? Kamala Harris is a machine politician. She's not a populist. She's not a socialist. Not any of that. She's a machine politician. And the machine in California is far, far left. We all know that. That's who she is. So she decides, after just being a senator for less than 3 years, to run for president. She gets nowhere. She tops out at 15% support among Democrats in the primary system. The campaign was dull. She looked befuddled, not as befuddled as Mr. Biden, but confused. She changed her positions on a lot of different things. Really, nobody could get a handle on who she is. Her personal life is standard, all right? She's married to a lawyer who has, they don't have any children, but she has 2 stepchildren. The lawyer was married before. Nothing, out of the ordinary. But she is a person who embraces San Francisco values, and that's very important to understand. So what the deuce are San Francisco values? Well, as I said on the radio this morning on the O'Reilly Update, and I hope you check that out on BillO'Reilly.com. We post every day if you don't get it in your town. Here is the rundown of San Francisco values. Okay. Avoidance of religion. Secularism rules. Inclusion is everything. Lax border enforcement. Free citizenship, amnesty for all undocumenteds here, and a fast track to vote. That's very important. So if you give citizenship to all the undocumenteds in the United States, about 15 to 20 million people, and you fast track them to the vote, the Republican Party pretty much disappears. We become a one-party country, if that happens. No due process. This is my beef with Kamala Harris. She does not believe in due process. All accusations are convictions in her mind, and we'll prove that in a minute. Low crime enforcement. Now, from a DA and an attorney general, he doesn't want to incarcerate. She doesn't want to, doesn't want to do any of that. Me Too, absolutely. Political correctness, okay, fine. Green New Deal, we love it. Right, these are all San Francisco values, and she's in 100%. There is nothing about Senator Harris that goes against the far left orthodoxy. Nothing. She has no dissenting opinions. Now, why would Joe Biden, who has a record of being a moderate, he's not any longer, Joe Biden is what the far left tells him to be. That's who he is now. Now, why would he select her? Why wouldn't he go for Amy Klobuchar or somebody a little bit more moderate, a little bit more experienced in the Senate? Remember, Kamala Harris never dealt with the other point of view. Doesn't care. Doesn't exist to her. If you're not far left, she doesn't even want to hear from you. Okay, 2 reasons that Joe Biden selected Kamala Harris. Now, you'll hear from the right that Biden wasn't involved in a decision. They just told him what to do. That's not true. Biden was involved with the decision. There was debate in his crew. The older guys, like Chris Dodd, these people, didn't want Harris. But the younger people did, and the minorities did. They favored her. So she got it. She was chosen for one primary reason: to attack Donald Trump. She is considered the most vicious of all the Democratic politicians in contention for VP. Whitmer is pretty vicious, in the governor of Michigan, but Whitmer isn't a person of color. So Harris basically checked off this box. So her job in the next 2.5 months is to attack Trump in unprecedented ways. Remember, Donald Trump's still the president of the United States. Well, you're going to see. It's going to be unbelievable. And the second reason she was chosen was because in response, it is difficult to kick back at Senator Harris. And when Trump does, and the Trump supporters do, they will be branded racists and misogynists. That label, no matter what the counterattack is on Ms. Harris, racist, misogynist, if you say anything negative about her, bring up her voting record, you say anything bad, that's what you are. Okay. Will it work? I don't know. Okay. Could. Possible. But I'm not voting for her or for Biden. I don't want the country demolished. And that's what they would do. Everything. You name it. It would be demolished. Little Sisters of the Poor don't want to pay for abortion pills. Little Sisters of the Poor pay. All right. I mean, I'm just throwing that out of the wind. All right. My tax rate, about 50% now, 65, 70. That's where that's going. Sorry. Okay. Now, 8 women have accused Joe Biden of misconduct. You all know the story. I'm not going to go over it. I don't know any of these women. One of them is Tara Reid, and that was the worst accusation, whatever. Here's what Kamala Harris said about the 8 women who attacked, and they did attack, all right, Joe Biden. She said this on April 2nd, 2019. Go.
I believe them, and I respect them being able to tell their story and having the courage to do it.
Do you believe that the vice president should enter this race?
Oh, he's going to have to make that decision for himself. I wouldn't tell him what to do.
I believe them. I believe them. If you believe them, why would you be running with Joe Biden? I'm a simple man. Okay. Now, when Harris in 2020 was asked about Tara Reid, I'm not going to repeat Reid's allegations. I don't do that. All right? But they're bad against Joe Biden. Here's what Harris said in March of 2020. Quote, Tara Reid has a right to tell her story, and she shouldn't face any repercussions for that. But the Joe Biden I know is somebody that really has fought for women and empowerment of women and women's equality and rights, unquote. Well, that's a little bit different than 2019 when Harris was running against Biden, is it not? And we had a little thunder action here in New York City. Don't get scared. I'm all right. Okay. So what happened? Well, she knew that she was being considered for VP. So Kamala Harris believed all the women in 2019, but not so much in 2020. Now, I'm only reporting this to show you who she is. Now, I have to credit my executive producer for finding this. You'll love this. After she was chosen yesterday, late yesterday, all right, the Associated Press reported on how she was chosen. All right? Now, the Associated Press wrote this quote. Harris, who is also Indian American, joins Biden in the 2020 race at a moment of unprecedented national crisis. The coronavirus pandemic has claimed the lives of more than 150,000 people in the USA, far more than the total experience in other countries. Business closures, disruptions resulting from the pandemic have caused an economic collapse. Unrest, meanwhile, has emerged across the country as Americans protest racism and police brutality, unquote. Now, that's supposed to be in a news article. So the Associated Press printed that. It went out to all the newspapers all over the world. And then somebody said, hey, that's not fair. And they pulled it back and they scrubbed it. But we found it in a Turkish newspaper in Turkey. Just to show you how the fix is in. The press will rhapsodize about the Biden-Harris ticket. All right. Key issues for you, the American voter. Black Lives Matter. Roll the tape.
They're not going to stop. And this is a movement, I'm telling you. They're not going to stop. And everyone beware, because they're not going to stop. They're not going to stop before Election Day in November, and they're not going to stop after Election Day.
Senator Harris, big fan of the Black Lives Matter movement. Big fan. Doesn't matter they're Marxists. She loves them. All right. Healthcare. Roll the tape.
So once and for all, do you believe that private insurance should be eliminated in this country?
No.
You don't?
No, I do not.
But you raised your hand last night.
But the question was, would you give up your private insurance for that option? And I said yes.
Oh, I think you heard it differently than others then.
Probably, because that's what I heard. I am a proponent of Medicare for all. Private insurance will exist for supplemental coverage, but under my vision of Medicare for all, one, we will expand coverage so that it would include dental, it would include vision, it would include hearing aids, which is a big issue for our seniors and extremely expensive.
That's right. It's extremely expensive. Who would pay for that? We got a $30 trillion debt now. Who's going to pay for that? You'd have to seize private property in order to pay for all the health care that Kamala Harris wants to pay for. You have to seize private property. You have to. Because there are not enough wealthy, affluent people in the country to pay for it. And corporations are going to move overseas. They're already starting. It's already started. Because a lot of people think Biden-Harris is going to win. Say goodbye. They're leaving. Not going to pay what the Democrats want to tax in the corporate realm. All right, finally, another soundbite. I mean, I know you know. But I think this is all instructive to get on the record. So my main beef with Kamala Harris is that she does not believe in due process. In this country, you are innocent until proven guilty. Proven guilty. Just because somebody lodges an allegation doesn't mean you did it or you're guilty. But not to Kamala Harris, who was the Attorney General of California. She believes all accusations from women, all of them. She didn't check out the 8 women who attacked Biden, but she said she believed all of them. Every one of the 8 Kamala Harris believed. But now she doesn't believe them because she's running with Joe Biden. On Brett Kavanaugh, Kamala Harris was outrageous. Roll the tape.
I believe her. Listen, first of all, anybody who comes forward at this point to be prepared to testify in the United States Senate against someone who's being nominated to one of the most powerful positions in the United States government, that takes an extraordinary amount of courage. And frankly, you know, I have personally prosecuted sexual assault cases, and my concern is, and she knows this, she is putting herself out there knowing that they're going to try and excoriate her.
Well, it's true. She was excoriated, Christine Blasey Ford. But Kamala, believes her. She believes her. The FBI turned up not one piece of evidence to back up Ms. Ford's assertions. Not one. And yes, Ms. Ford was criticized. But she walked away with more than $1 million. Do you know that? And the GoFundMe stuff. And her own radical left attorney said that one of the reasons Ms. Ford went after Brett Kavanaugh is because of abortion. Said it. So, let's sum it up. Senator Harris, 3rd most liberal on Capitol Hill. 3rd. Skin color means nothing. Wasn't chosen for her skin color. Gender means a little bit, but not a lot. Chosen because she will attack Trump in a vicious way. And if you go back at her, then the left and the Democratic Party will label you a bigot, a racist, and a misogynist. They'll do. All right? So she's got this kind of protective shield around her. The most important thing for you as an American citizen to remember is that there is a chance, and I hope it doesn't happen, that Joe Biden will not make it. Will not make it in his 4 years if he wins. All right? For a variety of reasons. Do you want Kamala Harris? Really? Even you liberal Democrats? And I know you listen to what I say. You really want her? Because she would demolish the United States of America as we know it. Okay, I think that was pretty comprehensive. Please let me know what you think. If I'm unfair, please. If I'm unfair, bill@BillO'Reilly.com, you let me know. I think that was an excellent summation of that woman. No BS, no propaganda, fact, 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 fact. Many of us are worried that our 401ks and retirement savings, everything we worked for over a lifetime, could evaporate. With all the fake news, it's important to have an independent expert in our corner to preserve and grow our savings. It's simple. So please meet Silicon Valley angel investor and 5G expert Jeff Brown of Brownstone Research, whose only obligation is to us, to you. His newsletter, The Near Future Report, shares his analysis on where the stock market is going and when, which stocks are poised to rise and fall, and new ways to profit from the exploding tech market. His track record is amazing, so please go to bill5g.com. It's easy, bill5g.com. You will thank me. All right, Hannity. So I've known him for almost 25 years. And we obviously work together at Fox News. He now is the #1 rated host at Fox News. He is very close to Donald Trump. He considers himself to be a conservative commentator, not a journalist. I'm a journalist. He doesn't consider himself to be a journalist. I have a degree in journalism. Okay. Now, I'm not putting him down by saying that, but I need to put Sean Hannity into perspective. But right now, he's the most successful conservative media person. And you might make an argument with Rush Limbaugh, but Limbaugh doesn't have a TV presence. Hannity's got 3 hours of radio and an hour of TV. So I think he's the most powerful conservative media person in the United States. He's written a new book, Live Free or Die, and I do his radio show every Wednesday. So I said, Hannity, you got to come on. It's not going to be a cupcake interview either. So he agreed, and here it is. So Hannity, thanks a lot for taking the time. I mean, you got TV, radio, Hannity.com. You got Kung Fu lessons in the morning. I mean, you got the book.
Kung Fu.
Oh.
Where did you? All right, I have to give a small history, and then I'll Bill O'Reilly, I train 90 minutes a day, 4 to 5 days a week in mixed martial arts, Krav Maga, Kempo, Japanese Jiu-Jitsu. We do sticks, blades, firearms, situational defense, and it's a passion of mine. And
wow.
you just reduce it to, oh, you do that with a Kung Fu thing or whatever else you say. Or,
well, I don't understand. Here's what I don't understand. Why aren't you taking Irish martial arts? Do you know what Irish martial arts are?
Yeah,
you throw a pint of Guinness at somebody. I mean, that's it. You don't need a lot of lessons for that.
Oh, man, you reminded me of Conor McGregor in the bar. All right, so I got to tell everybody, and then it's your interview, but I have to tell your audience. So Bill comes on my radio show every Wednesday, and Bill has been alerting me now for over a month. I want you to know this, Hannity. This interview I'm doing, it's my interview. It's a Bill O'Reilly interview. It's not going to be a cupcake interview. And I'm like, okay, Bill, I haven't slept in a month because I'm worried about the non-cupcake interview I'm about to get. It's like I've walked into a war zone. No spin zone.
All right, so you write the book, and I read the book, and it's basically a big picture, not a micro book, a big picture of what happens if Donald Trump loses. and why you believe he should not lose. That's the premise of the book. But now I got to get inside this. So you know Trump as well as anybody other than his immediate family.
We both have known him for, what, 25 years, right?
Right,
At
but
least.
you now have more access to him than anybody as far as media is
That's a
concerned.
rumor, Bill. I neither confirm nor deny, but go ahead.
Okay, I know you do. How has he changed? How has Donald Trump changed since he's been
Great
president?
question. Okay, first of all, I credit you because Bill O'Reilly asks questions that nobody else will ask. That is a great question. I think, Bill, that we have seen a massive growth, a trajectory that literally is like vertical. And when you come from the private sector as he did, and then you go into this, what we call the swamp, and then you're used to doing deals, you're used to, brawling, and I got to deal with these crazy people in Congress and the 99% of the media that if Donald Trump cured cancer, they would still want to impeach him. But
Yeah.
he has grown. Oh, I've never seen such growth. There's the short answer.
Okay. I see him as frustrated, angry at times. It's taken, the presidency has taken its toll on him physically. He's much more overweight than he used to be, hunched over a little bit. You see that with every president that's ever
Every
served.
president.
Right.
Yeah.
So I see him as a changed man, primarily because I don't think he was prepared for the hatred that is being directed at him. We're all human beings, we all have sensitivities. But as you know, and I agree, there has never been a president in modern times as hated as Donald Trump.
No.
So here's the next question. Why?
Because he has confronted the swamp in ways that nobody could have imagined, and he's defeated them, and they've tried to kill him now politically so many different ways. The media hates him because Donald Trump, I predict, till the day we die and then beyond, has permanently branded right up here in every media group's forehead fake news, because it is fake, it's agenda driven, they hate him.
He challenges back. I remember when I interviewed Bush the Younger, I said to him in the White House, how can you take all this hatred toward you? And he goes, factor. Yeah, he goes, factor. I just ignore it. But Trump's the exact opposite. He confronts it, and that makes it worse. But it's beyond that. On page 203 of your book, you write about the Education Secretary, Betsy DeVos, and a Texas attorney who says he wouldn't mind if Miss DeVos is sexually assaulted. Now, that's the level of hatred that not only is directed at Donald Trump, but everybody who either works for him or supports him or plays golf with him is subjected to that kind of malice. And I'm still going, I have never seen anything like this.
I hate to tell your audience this. There have over the years been hundreds of millions of dollars spent on anybody that's not part of the media mob or the swamp in Washington to shut us up, to get us fired. They attack you financially. They want to boycott you. Why? Because they just don't like what you say.
Biden going to show up for the debates?
He better. I think if he doesn't, he loses. That's simple.
I think
Game
he
over,
will.
checkmate.
But the New York Times telling him today, one of their columnists, don't debate, Joe. Don't show up.
That's the second time now. I didn't even see. I don't read that piece of garbage anymore. But I will say this, Bill. It's sad when we've gotten to a point in this country where what we do for a living comes at such a high personal cost. And by the way, whatever we might go through and the garbage and the hundreds of millions of dollars to silence any voice that the woke group doesn't agree with, Donald Trump is taking on the chin day in and day out, every second of every day. And I will tell you, there is a group of Americans out there that, as we saw in the Cato Institute study, they're not going to tell any pollster ever what they're going to do.
Let's talk about the Fox News channel. So 24 years ago, I can't believe it. I what was I, 16 years old? And You were 12.
I was
24
10.
years ago, I got a call. I had just wrapped up a master's degree at Harvard. How about that, Hannity, huh? Isn't that pretty darn
All right,
impressive?
really, go ahead, drop away, Bill. I'm cool with that. Go ahead.
I mean,
By
it's
the
not
way,
it's
Mike
not
Girardi's
kung
one of
fu
the-
lessons, but it's
Paul
okay.
tells me every week on my radio show, Hannity, I'm just a simple man. I'll give you the simple man.
I'm the simplest guy that ever graduated from Harvard.
Complicated.
Okay, so 24 years ago, I get a call. You get a call. All right, I didn't know you. You were a local radio host. You get a call. I get a call. Come on in. Talk to Roger Ailes. Going to start this new network. Goes up October 5th, 1996.
October 6th.
Yeah, but 24 years ago. And so I remember the first meeting that we were in some kind of warehouse. They were going to, after we got hired, they're going to take our picture. And there's you and Combs standing there. Catherine Cryer, who had the 8 o'clock slot. I had the 6 o'clock slot. And we were chatting. I mean, it's two Irish guys and this and that, and we were getting to know each other. Did you ever...
No, you would try to intimidate everybody in the room, Mr. Simple Man. But go ahead, I'm teasing.
I was chewing tobacco and stuff like that. Yeah.
By the way,
So-
a backstory. One day I was smoking a cigar in my office, and one of the primetime hosts on at the time didn't exactly like the smell. I got yelled at. So, but I don't smoke cigars.
But my question back then is, did you have any idea that this would become a success? Because I thought it would. That's why I signed a contract, but I wasn't sure. Did you know?
Bill, I don't need this. I'm now saying something I don't tell many people. Ever since I did my first radio show, I just expect the day I'm doing that show that somebody's going to say, we made a mistake. Why did that even happen? If you would have told me back in October 1996 that I would still be on the Fox News channel, I'm now 25 years, or on the radio. I started my radio journey, Bill, in 1987. That's 33 years ago. I am more surprised than anybody, and I feel blessed beyond measure. Now, you were a huge part of the channel's success for all of those years. By the way, I learned being number 2 is a lot better than being number 1 because you got the heat a lot more than we did. And Alan, who I loved, and God rest his soul, I felt like the luckiest guy in the world. But I do say this. I shudder to think what the country would be like without at least one channel.
Fox News has changed now. I'm not going to, I've never spoken about Fox
Are you going
News.
to take
I
like
don't
a
do
big
that.
wedge? Like, is this like the non-cupcake part where you're going to like make me try and be?
No.
I love what this channel.
Would you acknowledge that Fox News has changed?
You're asking a good question. I'm going to say something that some people may not like here, and that is I'm so busy every day, Bill. I do like to catch Fox and Friends in the morning in my radio studio. You've been in the studio. I have 4 TVs. I have 5 or 6 computers in front of me, and I spend my day. I like to quietly reflect and study before radio and TV.
Right now, in the United States of America, you are either the most powerful conservative traditional voice or tied with Limbaugh. It's close.
Or what?
Or tied with Rush Limbaugh, because Limbaugh doesn't have a TV presence in primetime, and you do. So you can make an argument, are the most powerful conservative traditional media voice. Your parents were working class people. Both of them worked. Okay?
Yes.
How do you think they would process? Number one, you're one of the wealthiest people, broadcasters, and number 2, you're one of the most, probably the most powerful. How would your parents process that?
So my father died 6 months after I started at Fox, and I did get him a satellite dish so he can watch. And then I worked at a radio station in New York at 11 at night till 2 in the morning, and I loved late night radio. It was actually really fun. And he would listen all night, 4 straight hours, and then he'd say, "Where did this all come from?" I said, Dad, you yelled at me every day to shut the radio off. I wasn't a TV watcher. I listened to the talk radio guys. But how would they feel? I'm going to tell you how they'll feel, Bill O'Reilly. I know God has blessed them because they had a much harder life than I've had. Every time I want to whine, bitch, and complain, I think about their life. I have no right to complain because I stand on the shoulders of very dirt poor grandparents, poor parents that never vacation, bought a new car, maybe late in life, and that gave everything to their kids so that we could get a Catholic school education because they saw that as an opportunity out.
Final question. Live Free or Die is the name of your book. Has
Yes.
New Hampshire sued you yet? I mean, you rip off their state motto, Hannity.
So Live Free or Die, the bottom of that says in Latin, live free or America dies. We went to schools where we studied Latin back in the day, which is kind of ageless. And I wasn't good at it, but that live free or die is how I feel.
So the book is Live Free or Die. It will open as a #1 New York Times bestseller, sending all of those people into a safe space. They'll all be very agitated. Hannity's #1. Who can we fire? How can we get it? That's what's going to happen.
I challenge Bill O'Reilly.
Yeah.
Let's do this again on your network. Okay.
All right.
Except I get to do the non-cupcake interview with me and ask you questions that nobody's ever asked you. How's that? Deal?
September 8th, Killing Crazy Horses out. Okay.
Deal.
And then you can throw the cupcakes at me. All right? That's a deal.
Wow. I finally survived. Oh, thank God.
So what do you think? I'm going to read a lot of email tomorrow. Let me know what you think of that interview. All right, we're in a recession. Everybody knows it. Millions of Americans have lost their jobs, and now's the time to evaluate your financial portfolio. And I recommend you hold some gold and silver, and the company that I use is American Hartford Gold Group. I've been with them for years. They sell physical gold and silver. You can hold it, or they'll deliver it to your IRA. Gold is up more than 30% since I started telling you about the American Hartford Gold Group. So please call them now, tell them Bill sent you, and they'll give you $1,500 of free silver on your first order. The number is 877-444-GOLD-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532. All right, very brief mail tonight because I want to get to the final thought. Raymond on the message board, people are afraid to go to places to vote. Walmart, food stores, motor vehicle agencies, all open. So give me a break and let people go to the polls. I'm with you. Stephen, what did I miss with AT&T? Why are you selling the stock? Because AT&T owns media corporations that run hate shows, like The View, like some on CNN. I don't want to be a part of it. Brett, I switched my business phone and internet from AT&T to Spectrum. So did I. Now, I'm not telling you to do it, just telling you what I did. Donna, I wonder if mail-in voting has anything to do with Seattle riots. No. Liberals want mail-in voting. That's what they want. And there are a lot of different motives, but it's a lot easier to cheat when you mail in, no doubt. Douglas Redunzel, Colorado Springs. We are lifetime members. If women are afraid of the Trump agenda, what has Biden offered to reduce those fears? He's not Trump. That's what Biden's run on. I'm not Trump. Miriam O'Malley, nice Irish name, South Abington Township, Pennsylvania. Could you explain the president's reasoning for pulling troops out of Germany? Yes. Germany does not contribute what it should to NATO. Trump doesn't like that. He says, I'm going to pull the troops out. I'm not going to spend all that money if you're not going to do what you should do. Simple as that. Mary Flummer, Pittsburgh. Great whites have been spotted near Long Island, Bill. I don't think Holly will be calm if she sees one. Holly almost had a heart attack this weekend when she saw a deer. It was unbelievable. And now the deer was pretty big. But Holly, if she ever saw a great white, we saw dolphins, and Holly was okay with the dolphins. But the deer spooked her big time. Dr. Steve Chirwati, Beaumont, Texas. I ordered 25 of the Stand Up for Your Country stickers, given them out to family and friends. They were given locally and even sent out to other states. Way to go, doctors. Stand up for your country. If everybody did what you did, we really, really ignite this movement, and it's very successful as it is. Okay, Killing Crazy Horse out September 8th. Please pre-order. You'll get it first. I'll talk more about it as the month unfolds. Word of the day, do not be sniffish. Sniffish. S-N-I-F-F-I-S-H. So here's the final thought of the day. I'm getting ready here at my house to send the urchins back to school. Girl, senior in college. Boy, senior in high school. They're going back. And I'm a little, I'm going to get them a hazmat suit or whatever, but I'm glad they're going back, particularly to high school. Kids got to be with other kids. And there is a threat, but we'll deal with it. We'll deal with it. But kids got to go back to school. They have to. We'll see you tomorrow.